Okay, this is real life. My hair's a mess. I'm trying not to show it. Got home from work and I'm ready to shower and chill. But I wanted to show off my We Are Knitters that I just got tonight. So it came today and this is my haul. So the first two are these petite wool speckled denim for that sweater. This light is really blowing things out, but the lighting in here isn't good, so I wanted to use the ring light. That's better when it's farther away. And then this is more petite wool in the color, I think it's lipstick red. No, it's just called red. In red. And put it close, but that's gonna blow it out. So here's Margaret, but it's a very red. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to make Knititude, the Cozy Celtic Raglan, I think it's called. And I've literally wanted to make the sweater since the day it came out 2 or 3 years ago for Christmas. I was always intimidated. Then I just never had the yarn. I finally said, you know what? I'm getting this yarn. There's a sale. This color applies. It's meant to be. I'm getting this. I am going to modify the pattern a little bit or hack the pattern, but show you when the time comes for that. And finally, just to round out my order to $90 so I can get the free shipping, I got 3 of the cotton. I know that'll be, or at least should be, enough for a summer tank top. And I got the color terracotta. It's an orangey rust color. This is a better, that's really blowing out. Here's a better representation down here. Yeah, it's not usually my color, but again, I just kind of went for what was on sale, which, you know, I've heard people regret. And if I'm learning anything, it's that people are usually right, but we'll see. There are a lot of summer tanks, and this is really, really soft. I've never used their cotton, and this is really soft. And that's my dishwasher being loud. So yeah, but yeah, here's my haul. There you go, you can get a full view of it. There is my We Are Knitters haul. I am having a cozy night in. I've got a candle, so the light is a little bit dim. But I wanted to show you the progress on the sweater. I just tried it on. It's about just past my elbow. And this is where I ran out of my 4th skein of yarn. So I definitely am glad I bought 2 more. So I'm about to start skein number 5. And I'm glad I didn't risk that because clearly I have a whole other sleeve and then half of this sleeve basically to go. So there's my update. I finished the February hat by Kelborn Woolens and I used Heartland Lion Brand yarn. It is a bunch of different stitch patterns and it was a fun, easy, quick knit. Hello friend and welcome to the EB Knits podcast. My name is Emily. I am the founder, maker, creator of everything you see here, and this is where I share my handmade items, mainly knits, and I think only knits in this sit down right here. So it has been a few days. Let me introduce myself. I am coming to you from Orlando, Florida, and there's the introduction. I make these vlogs about every 2 weeks and you'll just see my making process. Unfortunately lately it is dark when I get home or dusk, and then by the time I sit down and knit it is dark, so there's not a lot of daylight to share things with you. So I'm taking advantage of today to just sit down and show you my items. So it might be a little bit of a long sit down right now, but hopefully that's okay. I'm a little bit like a regular podcast, I suppose. Yeah, so I was just saying, I hope the light is okay, but we'll see. Alright, so let's dive in. I showed you this already, but I'll do it with natural light. This is the February hat. It is a pattern by Kelborn Woolens, and I don't really know who it's for. In December, I made about 5 hats for my partner's family for Christmas, and in the process of looking for hat patterns for them, I found a bunch more than I wanted to try and make, so I made those 5 and then I still had more, so this was one of the ones that I still wanted to make. So this is it. This is Lion Brand Heartland acrylic wool, or acrylic yarn. You will see several acrylics in this episode. I do have acrylic yarn because last year Was it last year? No, it was the year before. I ordered a bunch of Lion Brand Heartland for, there was like a shawl wrap that people really liked, and a bunch of people had purchased them from me, and I thought they would be more popular and they would continue selling, but they did not. So I've got some gray and brown of this left over, so I'm just trying to use that up. So I do have a small business. It is called EB Knits, but I'm in the process of considering or developing a rebrand. So, but ebknits.org is where you can see the stuff that I sell if you want to check it out at all. I focus on using eco-friendly materials and creating handmade items with a pop of color. So that is kind of my tagline. Obviously, this is not eco-friendly, the acrylic, but with this I was prioritizing budget because the shawl wrap was big, so it was going to be already a lot of labor, and I wanted it to be easy for people to use, so that's why I chose that. Anyway, that is a long aside, but on the note of trying to use the acrylic yarn that I have, I've got 6 or 7 balls of brown of Lion Brand Heartland, and I only have 2 more or 2.5 more of this gray. So this hat, if you've heard me before, I started in December bringing some knitting on my lunch breaks, so that is what I continue to do into January. And this is a hat I pretty much made over the last 2 weeks on my lunch breaks at work. The only thing I didn't do was I just bound off at home. The rest was there. So I have bound on a new hat. This is another one of those patterns that I found and wanted to try, so there's not really much to show. It's just going to be a 2x2 rib brim. This is the slouchy snowflake hat or something, and I will insert a picture and the name of the designer because I'm not sure. It is a free pattern on Ravelry though, I do know that. I'm thinking I'm going to make the brim in this gray and then the body in a blue and the snowflake motif in the gray again. So originally, this is what I'm thinking. Thinking this for the brim, like I said, in the snowflake, and then this navy for the body. It's actually left over from this blanket, but I do have this blue, which is also left over from this blanket. It's a lighter blue, so I don't know. I think that this isn't enough contrast, though. They're both light colors. So I don't know. If you wouldn't mind, weigh in the comments and let me know what you think. Is this enough contrast? Is it like dainty and cute, or is it just gonna get? Is the motif just gonna get lost, and I should go with a darker, perhaps? So. Yeah, those are my options. I actually, with how much I've knit, I do not have a lot of experience in color work. I've knit what I would consider was like the Fair Isle hat in super bulky yarn, and that's about it. That's the extent of my color work experience. So I started a color work yoke once, but I ended up ripping it out because I didn't like the color combinations that I chose, and I have never gone back to that pattern. So. Because I needed a different yarn weight. Anyway, so I don't have a lot of experience in color work, so I'm excited to get some experience with this one. All right, next up, what do I have here? Let's go on. I guess let's continue with the using up the acrylic. So this is the brown color. Again, Lion Brand Heartland, same yarn, just brown. So I think I have at least 6, maybe 7 balls of this. So I could keep making hats. I do have a bunch of hat patterns I want to keep making. And I do want to use this up. I want to get rid of a lot of the yarn that I have and use it. So either option 1, which was my original idea, just keep making hats, keep using it up. However, maybe I want to make something bigger to use more of this yarn. I was thinking a shawl. So as you've heard me talk about before, my Stephen West shawlography, it's sitting right here. It's my first ever shawl, and I really enjoy it. Now, of course, that's fingering weight. This is worsted. I would call it a light worsted. So it will be heavier, of course, but I went ahead and looked through Ravelry for shawl patterns, and I wanted to talk you through kind of my process to look. So first, for Ravelry, I have hundreds of favorites, maybe 1,000 of favorites, and I organize them all into bundles. So I have like a sweater bundle, a summer shirt bundle, scarves and wraps and shawls are all in one. Socks, which I don't really have a lot of because I'm just becoming a little bit interested in socks. you know, whatever, accessories, hats. So I have a bunch of bundles on Ravelry so that every time I favorite something, I sort it into that bundle so that it can stay organized. So my first step was I went through my favorites. I guess the first thing I did was I went through my library just to see if I had any shawls, and I narrowed it down to worsted weight shawls, worsted, Aran, and DK, because like this is a light worsted in my opinion, and I think maybe I could get away with all three, maybe, just seeing. So I perused through there. I didn't have a lot because I don't have a lot of shawls. And the shawls that I do have, I have for a reason because I love them. And I don't want to use an acrylic yarn for those. I want to use a nicer yarn. So those I decided not to do. Then I went to my favorites and I scrolled through my shawl slash wrap slash scarf favorites bundle. And again, I narrowed it down to only those 3 yarn weights. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stood out to me. So I have them up in front of me on the computer here so that I can talk through them, and then I will insert the pictures for you to check out. So, like I said, there's about 8 shawls that I narrowed it down to, and I just created a whole new bundle called acrylic shawl options or something, just to keep it sorted, and that's how I like to organize it. I've done that with tops in the past when I had the yarn but wasn't sure of the pattern, and I actually didn't delete that bundle yet, but eventually I may. But a lot of these shawls I do like, and I'm interested in more than one of them. So, but what will look best in brown? Okay, sorry, I am back. Okay, so I wanted to walk you through, and again, hopefully you can help me decide. So option 1 is a crochet shawl by Tony Lipsy, and I don't say this again already, I'm not on Instagram much these days, but I did love following her on Instagram, and I love her patterns. They're very clear, her tutorials are excellent. TL Yarn Crafts, her name is Tony Lipsy. This is also her pattern. It is the Holiday Tunisian Crochet Sampler Blanket, and it was so fun to make. I love this blanket. So that's a shawl by her. However, my only drawback is I don't know if I want to do a crochet shawl. I like the shawl, it's nice, it's a triangle shape, but I don't know if I want to do crochet. I think I want to stick to knitting for this shawl. I like crochet for everything that it brings to the table, like the structure, but basically if I could knit it, I want to knit it, I guess, is kind of my feelings about crochet. Okay, next up is the Powder Wrap by Casa Pinka. These are not all free patterns. This is a very cabled scarf. It is, I believe, Aran weight. I think it would look really pretty with this. I guess my only downside of this is, do I want to do all the cables for this wrap? It's a little bit intimidating because if I made a mistake, I think it'll show. So that is the downside. But then again, I keep saying, or I don't know if I've said it here, but I've been thinking it a lot. Like when I've said this, I know, when I did the shawlography, I loved the little bit of the learning new things, and the little bit of simplicity, and I love what it looks like at the end and how beautiful it is. I admire it so much, and I think like this would be one of those things I really admire and I'm proud of myself for making. I just don't know if I want all those cables right now, so that's something to consider. Next up is another shawl, which I'll have to insert the name because I don't remember it and I can't read it from this far away. And it is a circular shawl, but it has some lace, and I don't think the acrylic will do the lace justice. So I think I'm passing on that, but it's beautiful and I might want to make it in the future. Then we've got the Hipster Shawl by Hoki Locatelli. This is a shawl that I've heard so many great things about. I've heard, it's easy to make, it's fun to make, it's gorgeous. The X's that are in it are fun. I think they're I'm guessing they're similar to the X's in the shawlography. So I think that might be a nice combination. So I am loving that idea. That's actually the first thing that came to mind when I thought of making a shawl with this yarn. Next is, I think, the Boho Beats shawl. Amanda Sifka or something. I'll have to insert the name of the designer, but this is a shawl I probably would never have considered. It actually has bobbles and fringe, but I think it would look cool in the brown, but I don't know that I would really wear the fringe, so that's why I am I think it would look really nice in the brown. And maybe if I could gift it to someone, I don't know who I know would wear the fringe either. So that's my drawback on that. Because it's not just fringe at like the bottom parts, it's fringe in the center too, just below the bobbles. I think that's the part. The regular fringe, I think is nice. The other parts, I'm not sure. So, I don't know, but I think brown it would look really nice in. Okay, then we have the stripe seeker. And this draws to me because of the stripes. And I mean, I showed you, like, I have some leftovers from this blanket here. I've got a few other like leftover acrylic colors that I have available, I think. And so it's basically a one color shawl with stripes accented. And I think that would be really pretty. I just don't know if this, like, if it's just going to be boring until you do the stripes in making it. I don't know. And then that has fringe too, but it's only on the bottom. So this is really pretty also. Then we've got the Op Art shawl. And this one I really like. It's 2-color though, and I guess there's an option to be 4-color. I just don't know, like, you know, these are the 2 colors I have the most of, and I don't want a brown and gray shawl. I want a you know, a gray and a vibrant color, or a brown and a vibrant color. I don't know if, like, I have enough of this. I don't know if it looks good together. It'd be like a mint chocolate chip shawl. I definitely don't want to buy more acrylic. I'm trying to use the scraps, not get more. So I'm not sure. Maybe I would want to make this shawl with different yarn one day down the road. But I think it's gorgeous. I think I want to definitely make it one day. And finally, there's the cool winter shawl / wrap. This, I a little bit forgot about, to be honest, but, which I'm surprised by, because this has been in my favorites for at least 3 years now. It's one of the first shawls I saw that I was like, I want to make this. I want to make this. This is when I was still living in Illinois, so I thought it would be a perfect winter accessory when I first saw it. Now, of course, it would just be a fun wrap to have, and anyway, whatever. But it has a cable, it has a little more detail and interest with, I think, some yarn overs, but none of it is too much or too intimidating. So I think for the sake of those features, and that I've loved it for so long, I might be making that cozy winter. But we'll see. I really love the Op Art shawl. I mean, I love them all. They all have their elements. I think I want to make the powder wrap one day, that Casa Pinko one. I think I want to make the hipster one day. I like the Op Art shawl, the cozy winter, of course, and that stripe seeker one with the fun accents is really pretty too. So I don't know. There's so many different options. This is my second shawl. If I end up making this, I mean, who knows? Maybe I won't even end up making it and I'm wasting all of our time. But please let me know, which one's your favorite? What do you think would work the best with the acrylic worsted weight yarn I have here? Let me know, because I do want to keep making the hats, because I'm curious about all the, like, several more patterns I found. But I also kind of want to use something bigger just to get rid of more yarn. Okay, so that's my soapbox, probably way too long, about my acrylic yarn and what I want to do and use to get rid of it. Okay, let's have an intermission and talk about what I'm wearing, because I didn't even mention that yet. This is the Thea Tank. I test knit it. It is by Tamara Makes, and it is a brioche top with the decreases there. I love that accent, or that detail. This is with Lion Brand True Boo Sparkle. I absolutely hated working with it. It was so splitty, especially for brioche. It was the worst. That's harsh, but true. And now looking at it, it just turned out too big. The armholes are too big. The gauge is too big. It stretched way more than I thought it would when blocking. My watch didn't stretch that much, so I don't know what happened, but it's just gonna be a relaxing beach, pool day, chill out top that I wear. So, yeah, but the pattern was great. I actually have a second one in the works that I've set aside because I finished all of this part and it was just brioching the body, and I was kind of bored of brioching the body, so that's why I set it aside, but I'll get back to it this year when I'm done with a few other makes, because because I do want to finish it and be able to wear it, because I think it's a beautiful pattern. It's just this one, I think I learned from this. Also about the best yarn. So it's a DK yarn, cotton, and I was not a fan of this yarn, but I will say, to give Lion Brand credit, the sparkle was this one, super splitty. The regular Trubu was not as splitty. I didn't hate working with it as much. So yeah, that's just my review. Okay, now on to what's next. Let me show you what I just finished. I guess I'm not really going in an order of WIPs, FOs, dream knitting. I kind of went out of order, but hopefully you can forgive me. I semi-finished something. It is the Lilling Cardigan. This is the cardigan for my mom. I have to block it, but I didn't want to block it until after I showed you it, because I'm going to do that today. I didn't bind off the sleeves yet because I want to see how much they grow or shrink when blocking, and also since she is visiting in mid-February, I'm going to give her this then and she can try it on, and maybe I will have to adjust the sleeves to make it perfect. Since she'll be here, it'll be a simple enough adjustment. Here is the back. That's the real star of the show. So yeah, I just have to cut off the ends after I block it. I usually wait. They're woven in, but I usually just wait till after blocking. Here is the yarn I use, the petite wool in speckled denim by We Are Knitters. I did use, I used 5.5 balls. So I'm very glad, if you remember, I'm very glad I got those 2 extra, because I definitely needed them. So here is her cardigan. Okay, so have to block, have to finish the sleeves when I see her, and I have to pick out some buttons. So I did do buttonholes on this button band. It's the horizontal buttonhole, and originally I was looking at some brown or tortoiseshell buttons, but now I think I'm leaning towards navy to play off the blue denim speckles. So I'm gonna look on Etsy and see what I can find, and hopefully get those ordered soon. All right, so that is done. Now my next project is going to be something I wasn't expecting. So an old coworker reached out to me, and so I already told you about my small business. I used to offer mittens. I took that listing down, but I took all my winter accessories down because they just weren't selling, and it's not fun when something doesn't sell. So I'm trying to pivot and move on. However, she reached out to me and asked if I was still doing mittens, and I said, oh, I can certainly reactivate the listing for you. Here's what I have, blah, blah, blah. So she wants just a pair of classic regular mittens in this gray. This is Crazy Sexy Wool by Wool and the Gang. Tweed gray is the color. So I'm gonna make these. They should only take a day, 2 days, I don't know, depending on if I start today. And then they'll be done. So they're just a simple mitten, and yes, I'll be making those for her. And then I'll be moving on to, I think, the blanket for my dad, and then my sister's sweater. Dad doesn't know about the blanket. That's a Christmas. I didn't see my parents for Christmas, in case you're new here, and they're visiting in mid-February, so I'm giving my mom the cardigan. I made a hat that I think I'm going to give to my dad, but I want to give him something a little bit bigger, I think. I think the blanket would be nice, so I'm thinking the blanket. And then my sister requested a sweater, so I'm going to make her the sweater, and then I can go back to, at least for now, then my list of gift knitting will be done. Okay, that is a long spiel, but I think that's all I had to share for today. Thank you for being here, and I will continue, of course, to show you my makes for the next week or so until I publish this video. I hope you are all safe and well, and also, okay, so I also already asked you to comment a few times, so if you could do a third thing and just let me know, do you like this podcast where I just sit down and talk to you? Do you prefer the vlog style? Do you like the mix that I'm doing right now? Give me some feedback so I know what you like. I think I like the vlog style with these intermittent sit downs when I am available. That's where my head's at, but let me know where yours is. All right, bye guys. I am currently searching buttons for my mom's cardigan. I went ahead and favorited and again did like the Ravelry thing, made a bundle of buttons. So these are a bunch of blue buttons, and then down here is the ones that were kind of more brown that I was looking at the other day. However, I do think I'm going to go with a deep like navy, and I will show you some of my favorites. Now, I'm sure there's hundreds or thousands of more beautiful buttons on Ravelry. I mean, on Etsy and anywhere else. More than just these. You just fit my parameters. About an inch. They have to be at least 5 available because I have 5 buttonholes. And I want them to ship domestically here in the US because that is the most reliable shipping at this point, as far as I'm aware. So here are the shop names up here in the corner. Where's my finger? There in the corner. So you can check them out for yourself if you like any. So here's some of the ones that I narrowed it down to. Option A, B, C. These are my current favorites. The ones that just drew my eye right away. D, E, and finally these sparkle beauties. These would probably be my pick if they were for me. It's having trouble focusing. But don't know if my mom will love them. I think maybe like a deeper navy, like something like this. These are handmade, or these. These are my current favorites, like I said. But look at how many sales. They have almost 25,000 sales, and I kind of want to support a small shop. This shop has the least sales. I used to be nervous to shop from shops with really low sale numbers, but my Etsy shop, has like 10 sales, and I mean it's currently on vacation, but I have 10 sales. But I think I do astounding work. Like I really put in the effort, so I appreciate the people that took a chance on me with so little sales. So I try and take a chance on others too. So here are some of my favorites. I finished my mom's well, again, it's blocked, I should say. But that's the progress update. It is blocked. It is on. Wanted to show you. The sleeves did get a little bit longer with blocking. So I feel like I may need to rip them back a little bit, but I'm going to hold off, not mess with it until she's here and can decide for herself. And then I ordered the buttons. And I will show you when they come in. They already shipped, and the seller was excellent. She even messaged me with a question, so here is that. But on this note, and it fits me a little bit nicer. When it wasn't blocked, it seemed like, oh wait, this is not going to fit me. But my mom is smaller than me, so I hope it's nice. But yeah, hopefully it will fit her. I think it should. It's just maybe the sleeve is a bit long, which I will just rip back. Not a problem, because those still are not finished. And then add the buttons when they come in. So, on this note, I want to show you something else. I know I have those mittens to do, and it is a gloomy day, so I apologize if the lighting is not that swell. Since I was done working on my mom's, I was like, this is a really nice cardigan. I don't wear mine that often. Well, one, because, I live in Florida. But this is the problem that I don't like. I don't like wearing it because the sleeves are too short. They are just, I don't like that length. I want it to be long. So, and I feel like even when I took pictures, like they were at least about there, but I don't know, with wear, I guess I've heard, they can just rise up a little. So anyway, I went ahead and I wanted to show you this before I did the second one. I pulled this out a couple nights ago and ripped this arm back. And I put a safety pin. Where is it? Here it is. This is a safety pin. And this part isn't blocked yet. This is obviously blocked. So this will get looser and more relaxed, I should say, with blocking. That's how much extra I did. This is where just before the ribbing. So that safety pin shows right here, just before the decreases. So that's more than several, 6 inches at least more of stockinette I did. I just kept trying it on and was like, this seems too short still, this seems too short still. And when I block it and it does relax, maybe it will be a little long, but I would rather have it long than short. So again, though, same thing with my mom's. I just put waste yarn in here and am going to deal with the actual length after it's blocked and decide what I like. And I left a long tail because I like to do the Italian cast on. So yeah, so that is my Lilling cardigan. I have to make the mittens, but one of these days I will go back and rip out this sleeve so that it will be actually a length that I feel comfortable with. This just feels so much better on my body. It just feels so much more comfortable. This, I don't like the ribbing. It's too close to my body there, and it's just an awkward length. I'm not a fan. So this is so much better. Hopefully I'll reach for this more often. All right, that is what I wanted to show you right now, and I'll just show you the back because I have it on. This is my, like I said, my Lilling cardigan, and these are my buttons, which I wanted. This is from, I'll have to insert the name, but I love these buttons so much. They're all a little bit different. I don't know how well you can see them, but these are handmade, and I wanted to get ones like these for my mom, but I just didn't see like a really blue pair on her page that I thought would fit, so I went with a different option for hers, but I absolutely love these for mine. These are like stunner. The fun lace on the back and the beautiful buttons on the front. Love it. Okay, it is much later in the day than when I was taping earlier, but I'm in my PJs and I finished the mittens. I have one on, and I showed you the hyperlapse. They each took about an hour per mitten, and then I took a long break this afternoon and did this one to this evening. So I have 2 done. This pattern, by the way, is a free pattern by Knifty Knittings. So if you just go to her website, she has a blog with a bunch of patterns. And yeah, I showed you the Super Crazy Sexy Wool by Wool and the Gang is the yarn. So it's a really heavy, bulky yarn. All right, that's it. I will package these up. Okay, I wanted to show you before I get my PJs and shower. I finished this extending the sleeves on this guy. So I'm going to go block them. I'm probably just going to block the sleeves. I don't think I'm going to immerse the whole sweater. But I wanted to also just have kind of a reference point for how they look beforehand. I think they might be a little long. And I think they're going to relax and get a little bit longer, but we'll see. And I definitely have learned I prefer long than short, so we'll find out what happens and we'll take it from there. This episode is getting long. I might have to post it early, but I was trying to wait because last episode I promised you my dad's blanket was coming this episode, and I haven't even gotten to that yet with these exciting new intermission or new knit requests from people, and I have another one. So I have a hat for a 3 or 4 year old. I don't know if he's 3 or 4. My sister is a nanny, and if you were here a few months ago, you would have seen that I did make him 2 hats. One was really small, I made one I thought was child size. It was kind of small though, so I made a different one, bigger. Turns out the bigger one fits better, and they requested another one. So I'm hopefully going to be doing that tonight. And if I'm on a roll, I have this left. And I might send it with the hat. This is for my sister's roommate's sweater. I finished it. I made it in like November. So if you watch any of the knitting vlogs in November, you'll see it. But I have this much left. And originally I didn't know what to do with it. But now I'm thinking a headband. Just like kind of send it along with the hat. And my sister can take it home with her. So she'll have a matching headband. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah. That's it for now. I will show you the updates. I found this. I don't think it's a good fit for this hat specifically, but yesterday on Ravelry, oh my gosh, it was in the top. It's a gorgeous hat pattern. There's a fingering weight and a bulky weight version. I think I might have to make that. So anyway, I will post a picture and I'll keep you updated. The buttons came today. They came with a nice sweet note. And here they are. I'm really happy with the way they look in person. Let me pick them up. There they are. They're really pretty. The seller was great. It was, I'll put it on screen, So Vintage Shop. And I will put it on the screen for you and link it in the description, hopefully. The seller messaged me. She was very nice. She shipped the next day. And they're really pretty. I like them. They are, like, yeah, anyway, I really like them. And the reason I went with these, there was two in my that I ultimately decided between this one and another one, but those other ones that I said were my favorite at the time that I recorded the last video, it was just that shop had like 25,000 sales, and while that's awesome, I wanted to support someone with this one. This shop had like 600 or less than 1,000, so I decided to just shop smaller. So that was it, but these are definitely pretty. I am wrapping up this video, and it's already long, so I'm going to try and make this quick, but I feel like I have a lot to show. So, I blocked and bound off. I always do the Italian bind off these days. It's a variation on a tubular, basically, and I just think it looks really pretty. There, that's better. So, now the sleeves are maybe a teensy bit long, but much more comfortable. So I can see myself wearing this a lot more often now. And I finished my mom's Lilling Cardigan too. Well, I still didn't bind off the sleeves because, like I told you before, I wanted to wait for her to be here. But I added the buttons. Let's see if you can get a good look. There are 5 buttons on here. I don't know if you can, it's focusing, but they're very pretty. I added my little EB tag on there because I know she will like that. And now this is just going to be in a box until she gets here in a few weeks and can see how the sleeves fit. She doesn't know I finished it, and hopefully she doesn't, so she watches these like pretty delayed, so hopefully you're not watching, Mom, until after you get this because I want it to be a surprise. Well, she knows it's coming, and she saw the beginning stages on the vlogs, but yeah, so maybe I'll tell her not to watch. Okay, next thing I finished, this, which is still a little bit wet from blocking. This is for my sister's roommate. I showed you that ball of yarn I had, and I was nervous. I was like, this looks like enough to make a headband, but then when I weighed it, I don't know that it was enough, but so let me go for it anyway. This is a pattern by Knifty Knittings. It's a bulky weight headband, and it's a free pattern on her blog. The only change I did was I made it to 18 inches or 18 and a half or so instead of 20 as the pattern calls for. But just because from previously making Knifty Knittings headbands, I know that usually for most people that I know, need a little bit less length. So I think it's really pretty. That cable in the middle is really nice. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this sit for another little while, and then I will send it off with this hat that I finished. So like I said, my sister is a nanny. This is for the boy that she nannies, They requested black, gray, and red, and he loves these massive multicolored poms, so I made sure this is an extra large pom-pom maker by Clover, and I think it turned out really well. And this is another Knifty Knittings pattern, actually, the Fair Isle beanie pattern, I believe, and I did do modifications. I made the second size, which just again from making previous Knifty Knitting patterns, and I used Wool in the Gang Crazy Sexy Wool, which is a little bit larger than the called for yarn. I just know that this is, and I made, like I said, I made him 2 hats before, so I just kind of knew what size to make for him. And then just in general, like if I was making a size for me, I would probably make the size 3 with this yarn, because I don't know, maybe I have a small head, but that's the size that works the best for me, as I've discovered with many hat samples. So those 2 are going off to Illinois for, like I said, my sister Nanny's and her roommate, and I think I'm going to send off this embroidery piece with her to her as well, that one. To her as well. And final thing to show you is the snowflake beanie I've been working on. I showed you or talked about it in the very beginning stages. This is where I'm at now, so I did get quite a way, but the ribbing is what I did at work, and then basically all the color work I did last night. Yeah, what I learned is doing color work at work, it's not the best idea, because I get distracted and I'm not 100% paying attention, so it takes me like the whole lunch hour to do 1 row, just because of everything else going on. So simple is better for there. But yeah, I really like it. I think my floats, I don't know if they're loose, but maybe probably, I've always heard that's a good thing with the color work, and I think it looks really nice so far. I don't know that I've made any mistakes, knock on wood, yet in the chart, so that is exciting. But yeah, like I told you before, it's pretty much my first color work motif that I can really think of, because the only other, most of the other color work I've done is something like this. So, alright, that is my wrap up of my finished projects, of my WIPs, and next up, for real this time, is I'm going to pull out the scrappy blanket I was making and just reevaluate if it's something I think my dad would like. I will continue working on it. It is crochet. Continue working on this for fun, and then I have to get a move on my sister's sweater that she requested. So that is what is up next in my making future. That is it for me this week, or these few weeks. I will see you in mid-February at some point, or whenever I have a lot of making to show, if it's before that. And as always, thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, it means a ton to me. YouTube these days is pretty much the only social media or email you will find me at for now. And let me know what you are working on. And again, just thank you for being here.